it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2. Call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-733-1593. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-733-1593. Step 3. Congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-733-1593. That's 1-800-733-1593.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
I have 2 words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and I will be looking at Obama telling the states they have no power to stop refugees, but there may be an unusual safety net. Then a look at 81% of current and former military polled have an unfavorable view of Clinton, and that was before this administration decided to ban Christmas trees and Christmas carols from VA hospitals. You won't want to miss the fight brewing between the D.C. mayor and top cop over concealed carry. And surprise, surprise, the Justice Department has announced it would not be indicting anyone for the IRS scandal. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio, so be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600 or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
The Demander-in-Chief is at it again. This time he's sent a threatening letter to about 24 governors, mostly Republicans, who are blocking the migration of Syrian refugees into their states. Not only did the letter say governors don't have the power to block the federal government from resettling the refugees, but attempts to do so could lead to punitive action. It's hardly a surprise that the letter didn't float very well with all the Republican governors. What's prompting the backlash is the aftermath of the Paris terrorist attacks. It's been discovered at least one of the terrorists entered Europe in a wave of Syrian refugees. It is exactly what the governors fear. The Syrian refugee resettlement is nothing more than a Trojan horse. Obama calls it un-American. There's a certain touch of irony to the Demander-in-Chief suggesting someone else is anti-American. Obama suggests we should trust him and assures us that the refugees are subjected to the highest level of security checks of any category of traveler to the United States. Let me ponder this a minute. Barack Obama says we should trust him. Now, maybe I'm mistaken, but isn't this the same guy who's the architect of Fast and Furious, in which over 2,000 guns were sold to Mexican drug gangs to make a case for more gun control in the U.S.? Isn't this the same guy who spent $5 billion on Obamacare's website, which could have been done for about $100 in a bag of Cheetos by some 13-year-old? Wasn't it Barack Obama who came up with a brilliant plan to train nationalist Syrian rebels to fight for us in the region, and after spending $500 million, we ended up with 4 or 5 of them? If all this is causing you to lose sleep at night, the solution to the whole ISIS in America problem may be simpler than we realized. Giovanni Gambino, son of New York's convicted mob boss John Gambino and a frequent defender and apologist for the mob, said that Sicilian neighborhoods around New York City, as well as the other areas of the 5 boroughs, should feel safe knowing that they have their back against ISIS. In a recent press release, Gambino said, "The world is dangerous today. But people living in New York neighborhoods with Sicilian connections should feel safe. We make sure our friends and families are protected. from extremists and terrorists, especially that brutal, psychopathic organization. Wait, was he talking about ISIS or the mafia? Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong. There is a history of the mob working with the U.S. government to solve problems. For instance, during World War II, Lucky Luciano, one of the highest-ranking mafia both in Italy and the U.S., agreed to a deal with the U.S. Navy. Luciano, Meyer Lansky, and Albert Anastasia pledged their support of the New York Mafia. Anastasia controlled the docks and ran Murder, Inc., and together they guaranteed no strikes of the Union workers building ships for the war effort and kept a watchful eye on the docks for German infiltrators and submarine-borne saboteurs. Yeah, the mafia has a bad reputation, but much of that's undeserved, Gambino said in an interview. As with everything in life, there's good, the bad, and the ugly parts. The rise of global terrorism is going to give the mafia a chance to show its good side. So, if the mob is stepping up to the plate and doing what our president won't do, then the denizens of New York City, Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, New Orleans, and Los Angeles can sleep soundly. The rest of us in the U.S., well, we're flyover country with locals clinging to their Bibles and, oh yeah, guns. Yeah, I think maybe this ISIS thing is going to work out just fine. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Oh, that was different and unexpected. I didn't have a chance to preview this one.
No, it was a little surprise.
It was.
I like it. All right, you're listening to AM560 The Answer is on Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Do you see the Chicago outfit? Now, I don't call it the mafia in Chicago,
Right.
It's the Chicago outfit. Do you see the Chicago outfit sticking up for us against ISIS?
I don't know. That's a good question. I always assumed that the Chicago outfit is primarily interested in the Chicago outfit.
They are, which is the point, because ISIS is bad for business.
Okay.
Right? Because what's the chilling effect that ISIS really has? People are afraid to go places.
Right. People don't want to go out.
Well, if you don't go out and you don't go out to the strip joints and you don't go out and do all that kind of stuff, bad for business.
Mm-hmm. Move out of the city, as you suggested last week.
It was just a suggestion. I would not deign to tell people they shouldn't live wherever they want to live. If you want to live in a cesspool and hear gunshots at night, that's fine. I don't know. It's up to you. But anyway, the point is, this whole ISIS thing, the president threatening governors of states, saying, no, you have no right to prevent people from moving into your state that we put there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what 10th Amendment? Isn't that what they call it? The 10th Amendment?
Yes, there is that little 10th Amendment thing.
That impractical and probably disdainful states' rights issue.
Yes.
Didn't we go through this once before in the 1800s?
Yeah, the socialists hate the 10th Amendment.
Yeah, they certainly do. And that's what the whole issue is. I read an op-ed by somebody. It was a black woman, a journalist, I think, which was really good. I should have copied it for you. But basically, she goes, "This guy is really bad news." As in, like she said, forget this concept that he's trying to trim his legacy. He doesn't give a rat's butt about legacy. That this is all about dismantling the United States because he hates the country.
Sure.
And I think she probably hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of things on Facebook saying, I didn't always agree with George W. Bush, but at least you never questioned that he loved his country.
Exactly.
That's true.
Right. It is true. And
I don't think anyone can argue with that.
Yeah, no. And Putin is the same way, to be honest with you. And
yeah.
I've said this before. I can't believe that I'd ever say, yay, Putin.
Yeah.
He's humiliated this president.
Mm-hmm.
Just humiliated him.
Yeah.
We are no longer a superpower.
Right.
Because of this president.
Right.
And we got to get rid of this guy.
And it's also ironic, when you think back, 2.5 years or so, and Obama was caught with an open microphone telling Putin that after the election,
right,
he was going to have more flexibility. And apparently Putin took that to mean, he was going to be his doormat.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
It's every call he's made I can't think of a positive thing he's done for this country. He's destroyed race
No.
relations.
Oh, yeah.
They're at an all-time low.
Purposefully.
All-time low.
Yes.
He's turned cops into hated people.
Targets for crime.
Yep. His foreign policy is a joke. I mean, it's not a funny joke.
No, it's an embarrassment. Common Core is a debacle and an embarrassment.
And despite what the polls show, which is a surprise because they typically have their finger in the wind all the time, the polls now, we said this a couple of weeks ago, for the first time, a majority of Americans believe we don't need more gun control. We need more putting people in jail who use guns.
That's been for a while.
Yeah. He just continues to, and they continue to make this stuff up. They just continue to lie about the truth. His own numbers out of his own Justice Department do not support what he says.
Right.
And, why what do we always say? Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's right. That's exactly what it is. I don't know. So in the next, in the next segment, we're going to talk about Hillary, the Hildebeest.
Same thing, basically.
It you know what? It's a chip off the old block. Although she's older than him, so maybe he's a chip off of her old block. But in any event, when we come back, we're going to talk about Hillary may not be a shoo-in anymore. That may not be the case. So we'll be back with that and a whole lot more with more On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560 The Answer.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at traffic in Elgin, a crash, McLean Boulevard and Fleetwood Drive, and an injury crash in Mundelein has emergency crews on the scene at Route 45 and Route 60. Elsewhere, things looking pretty quiet. Your only delay is on the eastbound 190 O'Hare extension coming out of the airport terminals onto the Kennedy. So give yourself 21 minutes into downtown, 10 from the junction. It's 10 back to Montrose, 20 back to O'Hare, and wide open in the Express. The Edens also moving well in either direction, delay free on the Ike and the Stevenson. Your south side expressways are all flowing freely. No issues on Lakeshore Drive or the 4 Illinois tollways. Right now, it is 42 degrees with some clouds, mostly cloudy, continuing overnight with lows in the 30s. Tomorrow, some clouds and a chance of rain. Otherwise, it's going to be around 40. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
I think America is dying.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Everybody came here to be free. Everybody came here to strike it out on their own. Everybody wanted government to stay out of their hair. Everybody wanted to be free. Not today. We have way too many people in America who no longer want that America.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM560. The Answer.
For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association, supporting you.
Kitchen need a makeover? Tired of your outdated bathroom? Did a big box store raise more questions than answers? The answer is Stone City. 2 million square feet of marble and granite countertops in 50 colors starting at $26 a square foot installed. Plus the latest appliances, cabinetry, faucets, and fixtures. Stone City designers transform your dream into reality. Stone City, 3053 West Grand in Chicago, or call 773-533-9806. That's 773-533-9806. Stone City, it's your home, only better.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Okay, kids, the campfire's out. Let's hit the road.
Dad, the fire's not out. It's still smoking.
No, close enough.
Come on, Dad, do your homework. If it's too hot to touch, then it's too hot to leave.
I knew that.
You're never too young to get your Smokey on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference.
Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Hillary apparently isn't going to be a shoo-in after all. Interesting thing was done by Rasmussen recently, a poll by Rasmussen of military. They polled about just shy of 1,500 military personnel, and they asked them about Hillary. And the Hildebeest did not come out well. I would say the Hildebeest kind of tanked. 15% of military thought that Clinton was okay, had a favorable view of Clinton. 81% viewed her as unfavorably, and more than 69% very unfavorable opinion of Clinton. It was common knowledge that she was a shoo-in, right?
Well, yeah, that was everyone's assumption.
Well,
because she has lady parts.
I'm not even sure about that. I'm not even sure that's the case.
Well, but that's why people said they were going to vote for her.
Yeah,
is because of her lady parts.
They wouldn't vote for Condoleezza Rice for that, though.
Well, no one was asking that question, to my knowledge.
Of course not, because they don't care. A black woman who is intelligent, strong, and would be a good leader?
No,
that's not
out of the question.
Yeah. A recent poll from Rasmussen found that 81% of active and retired service members favor allowing military personnel to carry concealed firearm on U.S. military installations. Gee, let me think. This is the military. Don't they have guns in the military?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought they did.
Last time I checked.
Yeah. And they're not allowed to have them on a military installation.
And last time I checked also, most people who own guns privately actually learned how to shoot those guns from the military.
I certainly taught me. I not well. I was not a good shooter, but yeah, it is. As we said in the last segment, and we've said before, for the first time in quite a few years, now the majority, it's in the 50 percentile certainly, but a majority of Americans think we don't need more gun control. We got plenty of gun control.
Mm-hmm.
And she is literally making this a centerpiece of her campaign.
Oh yeah. Well, when she was Secretary of State, even though she was Secretary of State, which is technically Foreign Affairs, she was involved with Fast and Furious. She was in on it with Holder and Obama, and complicit in saying, "Yeah, I think this will work. I think we should do this to try to make a case for gun control." So she's been known, since way before this, that was, what she wanted.
She fits nicely into the administration.
She does.
Which is interesting because they hate each other.
Yes. To my understanding and knowledge,
yeah.
They don't have any love for each other.
Obama has obviously tried to tank her run by supporting Joe Biden.
Right.
Which I think that would be funny in and of its own right.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's not bad enough, the military hates her.
Yes.
Anybody that owns a gun, or just about anybody that owns a gun, is going to hate her. So what's the latest thing that comes out of this administration? They are banning Christmas trees.
Well, this is one specific VA hospital.
It's a VA hospital.
And they claim that they're just following VA Directive 22, which is titled Religious Symbols in Holiday Displays in VA Facilities, which I'm guessing this is not a new directive, but this particular VA hospital decided to actually follow it.
Yeah.
And there was, we'll just say, a tad bit of backlash.
So, here's the thought for the Hildebeest. She's virulently anti-gun. A lot of people are pro-gun.
Mm-hmm.
She has ticked off basically everyone that's ever been in the military.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of a lot of Democrats, labor union guys, are blue collar. They hunt, they fish.
Right.
I don't think she's a shoo-in.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, a lot of people are saying that, if we don't turn out the vote, that she will be. But I'm hoping that you're right. I'm hoping that we get a strong Republican, not some wishy-washy, flimsy Republican in name only. We need to give people a clear choice. I think it works better when people have a real conservative to vote for.
No, I agree. And plus, we know, because she's Secretary of State, her foreign policy really, really is bad.
Yeah.
Really is bad.
I mean, you really can't point to anything that
No.
she accomplished.
If we're going to get rid of ISIS, it's going to take a Republican, I think.
Yeah.
Mark is on the phone from Tinley Park, and Mark has a comment about ISIS also. How you doing, Mark?
Hi. Yeah, I'm certainly worried about the refugees coming in. But if you remember, I believe that the director of the FBI said that in all 50 states he has ISIS investigations, and I believe he said, was it 800 or 8,000 going right now? I think it was 800 going right now. Well, bear in mind that it's highly likely for every one of those ones that they know about, what do you suppose there are, 5, 10, 15, 20 more that they don't know about?
Probably.
Yeah, I know Brad Thor, as well as numerous national security experts, have always thought that, because when you were dealing with, for example, Russian spies, they always thought that, okay, we've caught an Aldrich Ames, we caught a Robert Hansen, we caught Christopher Boyce, but for the ones we've caught, they've always figured there were a lot more Russian spies than we ever knew about.
Well, I think that just stands to reason. You're seeing something at the surface, but there's a lot more behind it.
They're like cockroaches. If you see one, there's like 100 that you don't see.
Yeah. It's like Dogland.
Right. Absolutely.
No, I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for the call. I think you're dead on right. Well, that's a bad choice of words, isn't it? But or maybe it's an appropriate choice of words. I agree. We were saying at dinner that the interesting thing about ISIS coming to this country is we may teach them the lesson that we learned in Vietnam and other places, and that is guerrilla warfare is a very tough war to win. When you're a standing army, when you're being proactive, you're making the moves on targets and things like that, you're coming out in the open, you're exposing yourself. The citizenry, they just sort of hide in the doorway somewhere and wait until they see you get out of your car and they shoot you and they run away.
Right. It's always going to be easier for whomever is on their own home turf.
Exactly. So
which in ISIS's case is us.
Right.
And we have a lot of guns.
Yeah. Well, and we said that was one of my rants a month or two ago, and it's true.
It is
in the
true.
entire world, we are the best armed with the most modern equipment, the best trained.
Mm-hmm.
And, the liberals like to go, oh, well, it's delusional that you think you're going to do it. No, it's really not delusional.
Apparently it's not, because, we've gotten a lot more press for concealed carry heroes lately. And they've all been very successful.
They have.
So that tells me that under pressure, we're able to rise to the occasion.
You're right. You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Right now we're talking about does Hillary have a chance, and how do we clean up ISIS? That seems to be the prevalent topic in the past few weeks, which, go figure.
Yeah.
But
as it should be.
But the same liberals today that are saying, you're delusional, it's a typical Republican, we're going to save the world because we have guns. Those people are the same people that back in the 70s said you can't possibly win a war with guerrillas like that. They have guns and they pop in and out. They just flip-flop
right.
on what they think is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who takes courses, who studies this stuff will know hit and run is devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It literally wiped the French out in Indochina. It literally did. And it cleaned our clock. We never lost a battle, but it was this constant sniping at your, constantly. Mm-hmm. You never knew when someone was going to shoot at you.
Sure.
It would be a tough row for them to hoe. But I don't know. We'll see. Hillary, I think, is a horrifically bad choice.
Yes, she is.
To lead the country. forgetting the fact that she's a compulsive liar.
Well, yeah.
And that she's a crook.
Well, we already have a compulsive liar in the White House, so so we're used to that by now. We should be somewhat inured to it. But yeah, she definitely does take lying to like a whole new level.
Yeah, it's the whole Clinton family. We've talked about this, you and I, before. It's just interesting how many people disappear or turn up dead that are related to the Clinton family.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully we will not be dead over this commercial break, and we'll be back in a little bit with more on Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
At this time of fear and uncertainty across the world, Americans are turning to their president for leadership and assurance. What? He said what?
What I'm not interested in doing is posing or pursuing some notion of American leadership or America winning or whatever other slogans they come up with.
Wow. Okay. So keep listening to find out what President Obama says next. Right here on AM560, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Steve Rappaport. The man accused of killing 3 people at a Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado has a court appearance tomorrow.
Investigators are digging into Robert Louis Deer's past. Over the weekend, they've been searching his trailer in Park County, Colorado. They're looking for clues to find out why Deer unloaded on the Planned Parenthood building and ended up in a gun battle with police on Friday. For the past year, he had been living in that trailer in a fairly isolated area. Neighbors there say he kept to himself.
Fox's Will Carr. President Obama arriving in Paris on the eve of an international climate conference.
As it did during the president's recent economic tour of Asia, global security and terrorism threatened to overshadow the UN climate summit here in Paris. Still, achieving a global climate accord would be an important legacy victory for a president who has said climate change poses an immediate risk to national security.
Fox's Kevin Cork. Fox News. We report, you decide.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at traffic in Hanover Park, some flashing lights causing a little bit of a slowdown at Irving Park Road and Barrington Road. And in Mundelein, a crash with injuries reported at Route 45 and Route 60. Over in Elgin, an accident at McLean Boulevard, south of US 20, and in Wheaton at President Street and Roosevelt Road. Elsewhere, your only delay is on the eastbound 190 extension coming out of the airport and getting onto the Kennedy, so give yourself 21 O'Hare to downtown, just 10 from the junction, 10 back out the other way to the Montrose Junction, and 20 out to O'Hare, wide open in the express, but you wouldn't need them. The Edens, the Ike, the Stevenson, all the south side expressways, Lakeshore Drive, and your area tollways are all clear. 43 degrees right now, cloudy in the 30s tonight. Tomorrow, a chance of rain, otherwise highs in the 40s. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560, The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com or call 877-954-3030. That's 877-954-3030. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association Association, supporting you.
Kitchen need a makeover? Tired of your outdated bathroom? Did a big box store raise more questions than answers? The answer is Stone City. 2 million square feet of marble and granite countertops in 50 colors starting at $26 a square foot installed. Plus the latest appliances, cabinetry, faucets, and fixtures. Stone City designers transform your dream into reality. Stone City, 3053 West Grand in Chicago, or call 773-533-9806. That's 773-533-9806. Stone City, it's your home, only better.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-758-5360. That's 1-800-758-5360. Call 1-800-758-5360.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600.
Oh, we have a great comment on Facebook from Larry. He says 9 p.m. on Sunday with On Target Radio is one of the best parts of the weekend.
Do we owe him money?
Not that I'm aware of.
Thanks, Larry. That's really nice to know. Speaking of nice things, I appreciate that comment. Don Sauls donated very generously to the Safer USA outreach program to work with youth camps and that kind of thing. So, Don, thank you very much for a very generous donation. That definitely will help. We appreciate that. And I'll send him a letter because it's tax deductible.
That's right.
Kurt is on the Northwest side, and he has obviously something very kind to say about the Hildebeest, I'm sure. Is that right, Kurt?
Indeed, I do. She has a history going back nearly 20 years now of being very sympathetic to terrorists, especially when they commit their terror here on domestic terra firma. Back when Bill Clinton was in the last month of his administration, and he started to give presidential pardons to everyone, to the point where even Chris Rock said that Charles Manson had a suit and thought he was getting out. Hillary was going to run for the U.S. Senate in New York. So what she did, between her and her husband, they gave clemency to leaders of the FALN, which was a Puerto Rican nationalist group, that they shot up the U.S. Capitol in the 50s, I believe during Truman's administration. They planted IEDs at armed services recruiting stations across the country, and they had life sentences. Well, she had Bill, give them presidential pardons, so basically ensuring her the 1 million plus Puerto Rican votes in New York City so she could win that seat, because she was in a tight race. I think she might have been up against Pete Domenici back then. And,
yeah, that rings a bell.
And so, that's basically, she basically did that. She let these terrorists, domestic terrorists out in order for her to win that seat in New York's U.S. Senate seat. And, because she was a carpetbagger, she had absolutely no residency there. It was about as good as Rahm Emanuel's wedding dress over there on Hermitage. And, and so she has no problem with terrorism when it's done that it can benefit her.
I appreciate the call, Kurt, and you're right. This woman is duplicitous at best. Two-faced, we're beyond that. We're somewhere around 5 or 6.
Duplicitous would be highly euphemistic.
Yeah, it really is. It just really be a bad choice.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure the Republic would survive because you have 8 years of Obama and then her.
Yeah.
That's disastrous. Speaking of disastrous, and speaking of Washington, D.C., and that's a good segue.
Very good.
That's a good segue. I came across this thing about the D.C. mayor is Muriel Bowser. And I don't know if you remember this, the woman or not, but the district police chief is Kathy Lanier, a blonde woman.
Yep.
And she's been, everything I've ever heard her say has been virulently anti-gun.
Well, and I imagine she's much the same as Tom Dart in Cook County as far as they tell him what to say.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get hired.
The mayor and his people and Anita Alvarez, they all, he's their little meat puppet.
They get their marching orders.
Right. And so I always assumed that Kathy Lanier was just a meat puppet.
Well, she just, you know what? The meat got a little too well done.
Yeah.
Because
she's getting a mind of her own.
Well, her response after Paris, having gone on record many times being in supporting well, technically they have concealed carry in Washington, D.C., but you know how that works.
Right.
Having gone on record as saying she didn't like it and didn't support it, now her words are literally, she says, this was on 60 Minutes, those facing a gunman like the Paris terrorist attacks have a choice: run, hide, or fight. She added, if you're in a position to try and take the gunman down, take the gunman out. It's the best option for saving lives before police can get there, which torched off Mayor Bowser to no end. And now she's going on television and the media.
Well, yeah, Bowser had a press conference and a local reporter, asked her, what do you think about what Kathy Lanier said on 60 Minutes? And so she had to, ostensibly had to respond. And she said, she didn't like that answer, and she didn't think that was the right answer because I don't like guns.
That's it. She doesn't like guns. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says.
And then everybody clapped.
Yes, I know. Well, it's D.C. What can you expect? Then one of the things that she said about Lanier, she said, well, Chief Lanier was only talking about a 1 in 100 million situation involving an active shooter. She didn't explain how that was like different from the random shootings that go on around the city.
Or how is that even relevant?
Right. I don't know. It's crazy.
What is the odds? How's that make it any better?
It doesn't hurt mine. All right, we're going to be back at a few messages with more on Target Radio. We're going to talk about, when we return, this is a real shocker. The Justice Department says they are not going to be prosecuting anybody in the IRS scandal. Go figure. All that more on Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Taking a look at the roads over in Mundelein, a crash at Route 45 and Route 60, reported as an ejection accident with injuries. And over in Elgin, crews still with an earlier wreck at McLean and Fleetwood Drive. As you travel northbound on the Dan Ryan past 31st, you have a stall blocking the left lane. Seeing a little bit of a delay as you approach. Give yourself 16 from 95th into downtown, outbound side, just 15. No delays on the Edens or the Kennedy. The 190 extension is finally all cleared up. Had been busy all day with folks going to and from the airport. Eisenhower and Stevenson moving well. No delays on Lakeshore Drive or your 4 area tollways. And it's a smooth ride through Northwest Indiana. 43 degrees right now. Clouds in 30s tonight. Over tomorrow, some light rain in the morning, and then a high of 40. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
If you're looking for a better shooting experience, imagine shooting virtually all your firearms the same day. You can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, or compete in a 3-gun match. You can exercise that rifle out to 600 yards, even engage in a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. Do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Whether you're a novice looking for a basic course or an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, even if you want to participate in your favorite shooting shooting event such as IDPA or cowboy action shooting. Spend an enjoyable day with the family at the Aurora Sportsman's Club, the only shooting facility in the region that offers all of that and more. If that sounds interesting, don't miss the next orientation and a tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois. Call the membership department at 815-264-9000 extension 44 for information. That's 815-264-9000 extension 44 to join a one-of-a-kind shooting facility. The Aurora Sportsman's Club.
Hi, I'm Brendan Burchard. Some people call me the world's highest paid motivational trainer, and some people call me crazy because I've just authorized a nationwide giveaway of my 2015 New York Times bestseller, The Motivation Manifesto. In the next 24 hours, I want to give away as many free books as possible. To get your hardcover copy, call 1-800-700-3630 or go to motivationbook.com. If you want to reach your true potential, personally, professionally, or financially, you need this book. You'll discover how to stop feeling tired and overwhelmed, identify the major enemies keeping you from living your dreams, and learn the secrets to defeating them. I'll teach you my proven strategies to start attaining the levels of drive and personal success you're craving. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom. Due to high demand, I can only offer one free book per household. To get your free book while supplies last, call now, 1-800-700-3630. That's 1-800-700-3630. Or go to motivationbook.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Tell me if you are as outraged about this as I am. I can be outraged, right? This is my outrage voice. The Justice Department is not going to prosecute anybody in the IRS scandal. And to remind you of this, the IRS scandal is the President of the United States using the IRS to beat up conservative groups. Mm-hmm. Anybody that opposes him, he would stick the IRS on.
Yeah.
What was her name? I forget her name.
Lois Lerner.
Lois Lerner, who, had blood on her hands.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
And Dick Durbin actually was also implicated in telling the IRS to go after certain groups.
Our Dick Durbin? I'm shocked to hear
our
that.
very own.
I'm shocked.
Illinois' very own Dick Durbin.
They're not going to prosecute anybody.
Well, who's running the Justice Department? Loretta Lynch, which is the female version of Eric Holder.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Republicans take control of the House and the Senate?
Yeah, last time I checked, they did. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like a big thing when they do that? Like control?
It is, but they still don't have any control over the Justice Department.
They have no control over the government, period.
Yeah.
Obama is walking all over them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And I know there's going to be.
Although to hear the Democrats say it, it's different. They're not.
No.
Oh, the Republicans are. Oh, they are not doing their job. They're holding those Democrats down.
You know what? They are cowed by the fact that this man is half black.
Yeah.
The only part of Obama they see is the black half.
Right.
And they're afraid of being called racist. That's what it is.
And the Democrats have done a really good job of using that as the bludgeon for everything.
It doesn't matter what you say. I don't think it's a good idea. You're a racist.
Yeah. It's because you're racist.
Yeah, because you're racist. How can they do this? This just astounds me.
Well, my question would be, maybe for somebody like Ed, what's the statute of limitations on something like this? I mean, if we do get a Republican president who will nominate a conservative, Department of Justice, then, can we circle back around and prosecute, Lois Lerner and whomever else is implicated in this?
Ed would probably have that answer.
I would hope that we can. I would hope that just because this Justice Department hasn't elected to do so doesn't mean that no one can ever do it.
Sure.
And I would guess that's true.
You're listening on Target Radio, AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Tell me if you think it's a good deal if they aren't going to prosecute anyone in the IRS scandal. And here's just a classic example of typical liberal, I can't say that word, typical liberal something, negative. 114 of the House Democrats are telling the President of the United States, you know what, just bypass the Congress on gun control.
Yes.
Just forget about the Congress.
They wrote a letter urging him to circumvent Congress by using executive action to expand background checks to cover private gun sales.
This 3 thing, remember, I keeps coming up from my civics lessons. Let's see, there's the president, there's the Supreme Court, and then there's this sort of group of guys and women that we've elected to represent us so that we keep the government straight.
Right. Checks and balances.
Just
heard of it.
Brush them aside, which this president has become a master at doing.
Yeah. The leadership, which is Mike Thompson, who is a Democrat from California, big shocker. He says that through executive action, Obama can keep guns from criminals, domestic abusers, and the dangerously mentally ill. Something needs to be done, and since Republicans in Congress can't even bring themselves to hold a vote, this is the best option to make our country safer. We both have quizzical looks.
You know, the interesting thing about this is the whole assault on assault weapons, as they call them, and high capacity, all of this stuff. The numbers from the Department of Justice that
and the FBI,
and they're under this presidency. Their leaders are handpicked. So if there's going to be skewing of numbers, if they're going to juke the numbers, it's going to be in favor of gun control.
Right.
Their numbers don't bear any of this out.
Right.
None of it.
And the other thing is that the expanded background checks would not have stopped any of these attacks. The 2 news broadcasters that were killed, the Umpqua College out in Oregon, that wouldn't have been stopped. Nor would the July 23rd shooting at the Lafayette movie theater, the July 16 attack at the Chattanooga military recruitment office, or the shooting at the church, the Episcopal Church in Charleston. None of those would have been stopped by this particular background check. All those people got their guns legally.
But the weapon of choice is an assault weapon, even though they didn't use them. Yeah. And you know what? The public buys into that.
Yeah. I mean, these sheep, they just nod. You know, I was telling you at dinner that I got so angry yesterday. I was watching the Today Show, and they erroneously reported that Planned Parenthood provides cancer screenings, and they showed video of a woman getting a mammogram. And the CEO of Planned Parenthood had to admit in sworn testimony before Congress that they don't do mammograms.
They don't even own one.
And yet NBC News is still shilling for these people. And it's the same thing with this. The mainstream media is shilling for gun control for no good reason.
Well, that's it. And every time they talk about assault weapons, they always show somebody firing a full auto.
Yes.
All right, we're going to be back to wrap all this up with more On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com or call 877-954-3030. That's 877-954-3030. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-733-1593. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-733-1593. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-733-1593. That's 1-800-733-1593.
I guess my question is, how do we fire the engineer? He changed my beloved bumper music.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is dicey stuff. Are you ready to go on? I don't know what he'll do to you. When you start, he'll probably do something terrible.
I can't go on.
You ready for your close-up?
Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
The women's holster class that I teach has gone to a girls' night in format only. The class addresses firearm selection, rationale for female-specific holsters, demonstration of about 9 holsters, and plenty of time to try on holsters and discuss concealed carry. If you would like to schedule a fun, informative get-together for 4 or more women, contact me or David directly by email, phone, or Facebook. The Illinois State Rifle Association invites you to participate in Winter Wars 12, their annual high-power rifle romp in the snow. The Winter Wars match will be Saturday, January 9th, starting at 9 a.m. This is not a fiercely contested event for finely tuned match rifles. This is an opportunity for the milsurp rifle enthusiast to shake off cabin fever and get back in touch with some of his or her favorite relic battle rifles for a little fun and a little frostbite. There will be door prizes, not score prizes, and you will probably receive one if you brave the cold. The entry fee is $25 for the entire event, which includes 2 shooting matches, chili, hot drinks, and a bonfire. Please mail your entry to the ISRA office in Chatsworth. I put all the information on Facebook earlier today. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, December 12th and 13th, and January 9th and 10th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
You know, I was out there on the range at Aurora teaching, and it was, this is like a week ago, I think, 2 weeks ago, and it was like 450 degrees below zero, as it is out there.
Is that when you were teaching the tactical class?
Yeah. And
it wasn't that cold that day.
It was that cold. And so my only question was, I sent a text message to Ross, our guy who works out there all the time. And I said, what would it cost to just cover the entire 255 acres and heating and air conditioning? You don't think, maybe we get a grant. I don't know.
I'm doubting it.
I'm doubting it too. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah. Next week, we don't know what we're going to do, as always, but I'm sure this ongoing discussion of ISIS and the Hildebeest will continue.
I'm sure they will.
Here's the question I have, and we have hardly any time left, but the question I have is, we certainly don't want her.
No.
But what's the alternative?
Good question.
On that side of the aisle.
Good question. Well, I guess
Bernie Sanders?
Well, I was going to say, I guess the alternative, apparently, is Bernie Sanders, which I think he's beatable.
Well, yeah, you're probably right, because he's way off.
He's Looney Tunes.
Yeah. He's way off on the edge.
I mean, the only people he can get to support him are like 19-year-olds who don't know any better.
Who aren't paying taxes yet.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, and don't understand really like a single phrase that he says.
That's right. That's like these women, I forget what the college was, they're demanding that they shouldn't have to pay for college and all this stuff. And the news guy goes, who will pay for it? It never occurred to them.
Right.
They hadn't thought about it.
Right.
All right. Well, it is what it is. So thank you for listening to On Target Radio, and be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering the red meat issues that affect your life.
And we'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board and our sponsors, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, Stone City Kitchen and Bath Design Center, and Safer USA.
Do I switch into a radio voice when I do that?
little bit.
Somebody said that to me. I talk different.
Not like full on. You should see if you do the full on radio voice, then they'll know. They'll have something to compare to.
You're listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer.
Like that.
I like that. All right. And thank you, Michael, for making it all happen, buddy.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had numerous credit cards, and I was struggling with paying them off.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360 to talk to a certified counselor.
I had heard about Trinity, so I made the call. They took care of all of my credit cards, and now I am completely debt-free.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
The people at Trinity are very friendly. They will do whatever you need them to do in order for you to feel better about being in a very difficult place.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
My name is Ann, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-758-5360.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Johnson. The University of Chicago is canceling classes Monday after the FBI told school officials about a threat of gun violence. No word on the exact nature, but school officials say in light of violence and